On the resource page linked in the video description, I cover many important and useful diamond systems for aiming all types of kicks and banks. The most basic and important system is the through diamond rolling ball 2-to-1 system. In this video, I demonstrate the system and show how to make aiming adjustments when necessary. I also show a wide range of game situation examples that demonstrate the usefulness of the improved system. Let's start with some excerpts from previous videos that cover all the basics, beginning with a clip from my Aim Kicks and Banks Like a Pro video. The most common diamond system is the 2-to-1 slow rolling system. The diamonds are numbered from the target as shown here. Any 2-to-1 track gives accurate aim to kick to the corner. Here's the 2-to-1 track from 1 to 1/2. I've marked the 1/2 diamond point with a golf tee so you can see it clearly. When practicing the system tracks, first place your cue with the tip pointing at the opposite rail diamond and the butt over the near rail at twice that number. Here I am aiming from 1 to 1/2. Then place the cue ball under the cue and verify that it is along the line when down in your stance. If you roll the ball with slow speed and no side spin, it will go to the corner. Here's the 2-to-1 track. And here's the 3 to 1.5 track. Here's the 4 to 2 track. And here's the 5 to 2.5 track. The 2-to-1 system also works with slow banks, where the object ball develops full roll before hitting the cushion. Here's a 2-to-1 bank. And here's a 4 to 2 bank. This clip from my Top 10 Bank and Kick Shot Aiming Systems video covers how to aim between the system reference lines. If the cue ball is not on one of the standard tracks, there are two approaches to aim the shot. You could just estimate between the tracks. Here, the cue ball is between the 3 to 1.5 and the 4 to 2 tracks, so I just aim in between. To be more accurate, you can also do a 2-to-1 shift relative to the closest track, where you move the back of the cue along the rail twice as much as you move the tip. Regardless, you can always check the numbers before shooting. Here, I am aiming from about 2.8 to about 1.4, so the line looks good. This clip from my Important Systems video shows how the system works the same for long kicks off end rails. The 2-to-1 system also works for long kicks off a short rail. Here, the cue ball is very close to the 3 to 1.5 track, and I only need a slight 2-to-1 adjustment to find the required aim. Finally, this clip from my Top 10 video shows how to modify the system to deal with speed effects. The 2-to-1 system, where we measure everything relative to the line of diamonds, assumes the cue ball is rolling at relatively slow speed. The more you increase the speed, the more the cue ball will come up short of the target. An easy way to compensate for this is to measure along different reference lines. Again, for slow speed, we measure along the line of diamonds. For fast speed shots, a better reference is the rail groove, where the base of the ball sits on the cloth when it is up against the cushion. Here, I am shooting along the rail groove 4 to 2 line with fast speed. A scratch during practice like this indicates good precision. In a game situation, you would obviously want to use slower speed or aim to either side of the hanger instead, so you won't scratch. For medium speed shots, the middle of the cushion is a better reference. A good way to visualize this reference is to place the tip onto the cushion. Here, I am again shooting along the cushion center 4 to 2 line. Now let's look at aiming adjustments required to use the system effectively at large angles. When shooting above the 5 to 2.5 line, the kicks or banks will go long. Here's an example kick on the 6 to 3 line. If you observe how long the ball heads relative to the line of diamonds, you can figure out how much correction is required on the aiming rail. Since everything is 2 to 1, simply adjust your aim up table by half the error. I've marked the new aim point with a red die. Aiming at that point instead gives a more accurate result. My table plays close to what should be expected on most tables under typical conditions. Although, larger adjustments would be required on diamond tables that typically bank very short based on the info and demos at the link in the video description. But as players, we always need to be able to adjust to different table and environmental conditions. That's why it's important to do test shots like these on an unfamiliar table so you will know how much to adjust relative to system aims. Here's a good benchmark shot that can help you decide how much you need to adjust your aim for any shots with angles larger than the 5 to 2.5 line. Just find the required aim point on the rail that sends a kick to the corner from diamond 8. I have the imaginary 8th diamond marked with a donut. It is in the line of diamonds along a line through the adjacent rail cushion nose. On most tables, shooting from 8, you need to aim about a ball above 4 to correct for the ball kicking long. This will give you a good feel for how much to adjust for kicks at all angles more than 5 diamonds. You adjust less than the 8 diamond measurement the closer you get to the 5 diamond line. Again, a scratch here indicates good precision. In a game situation, you would obviously use slower speed or aim to either side of the hanger to prevent the scratch. Now let's look at some game situation examples showing how effective the 2 to 1 system can be for various types of shots. All the examples are from the game of 8 ball shooting solids. Here, I need to pocket the 8, and the only good option is a kick. The closest 2 to 1 line is 6 to 3. I do a 2 to 1 shift to the cue ball to find the ideal line of aim. If you want more information and demos dealing with this, see the link in the video description. Since the kick is over about 6 diamonds, a small correction is required since the kick would go long otherwise. I move the tip up the table a little, keeping the butt in the same point on the other rail, just as I did when finding the aim adjustment earlier. Then I do a 2 to 1 pivot back to the cue ball to find the required line of aim. I know this seems like a lot of steps, but after some practice, you can do the steps quickly. Then I am extremely careful to hit the cue ball on the vertical center line. If you impart even a hair of side spin, the system will not be effective. Here, I'm in a bad situation, but if I can pocket the 8, I get the win. Because I need to target a point away from the corner, and because the kick angle is large, I decide to use the mirror version of the 2 to 1 system. I measure the distance from the cue ball to the line of diamonds, mirror the distance to the other side, sight to the desired ghost ball target, and find the ideal aim point on the line of diamonds. Since the kick will be at an angle more than 8 diamonds, I adjust the tip position up the rail, and then I 2 to 1 shift back to the cue ball. Again, I know this seems like a lot of steps, but they are required if you want to be accurate and consistent with the system. And the steps go quickly after some practice. Here's a final example. The goal is to get a good hit on a solid, break up the 1-5 cluster, and try to leave the cue ball safe behind the 8, with the 1 and 5 maybe helping to hide the stripes. First, I visualize the approximate kick path. I am using the 30-degree rule peace sign to help visualize the natural angle to verify that the cue ball will head behind the 8 off the 5. Because the cue ball and target are off the rail away from pockets and the kick angle is small, I decide to use the equal distance version of the 2 to 1 system. This approach is covered in detail at the link in the video description. I place the tip in the line of diamonds and move it while keeping the cue over my target until the tip is exactly between the cue ball and cue. This gives me the required aim point on the rail. Since the kick is over an angle less than 5 diamonds, no aim adjustment is required. I hope this video helps you become even more effective with the 2 to 1 rolling ball, kicking, and banking system, including using the mirror and equal distance versions. Again, check out the links in the video description if you want to learn more and get more practice. Good luck with your game from Dr. Dave.